Barack Obama, calm and composed. Ivanka Trump interrupting him at every turn. But when Obama delivers one sentence, it leaves her speechless. You won and #39. Believe how this intense standoff ends. Stay tuned. In a grand hall filled with flashing cameras, Barack Obama stood poised to speak on truth and responsibility. And GT. Is politicians just blatantly, repeatedly, baldly, shamelessly lying? But as he began, Ivanka Trump repeatedly interrupted him and what has been accomplished by this administration. Despite unprecedented resistance, and GT, insisting her side of the story be heard, the tension in the room grew as Ivanka, usually so composed, became more urgent, her voice growing sharp with each interruption. And GT, in all of government effort to coordinate the activities of the U.S. government as in GT, Obama, calm and steady, didn't in #39, lose his patience. He allowed her to speak, adjusting his tone to navigate the interruptions with grace. And GT, good. In 2008, when we were going through the worst economic crisis in our lifetimes, and GT, the energy in the room shifted. What started as a political exchange became a human moment, raw and unfiltered. Obama and #39, patience and Ivanka and #39, nervous urgency painted a powerful contrast. Ivanka, determined to control the conversation, found herself facing a challenge greater than expected. She wasn't in #39, just arguing a point. She was struggling with the weight of truth. After several interruptions, Obama paused. The room fell silent. With a voice steady and measured, he asked a question that cut through the tension. Why hasn't in #39, your family allowed a DNA test for Barron? If you believe we in #39, wrong, and if you think our report is false, prove it. Is for certain Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question. Here in #39, a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. And GT, the nation has been waiting. The words hung in the air, a challenge that could not be ignored. Ivanka froze, her confidence faltered, her hands trembling as she looked for reassurance. The room was waiting for her response, not just to defend a claim, but to face an undeniable truth. The gravity of the moment weighed heavily on her. The interruptions, once sharp and assertive, now seemed powerless against Obama and #39's calm authoritative challenge. As the silence stretched on, Ivanka and #39's usual composure cracked. Her voice softened almost in a whisper. Dawn and #39, force a barren DNA test now. It and #39's too late to reveal the truth. The room was still. The energy that had once been tense and combative was now filled with understanding. Ivanka had revealed vulnerability, and in doing so, she shifted the conversation from politics to something far more human. Accountability, truth, and the consequences of facing reality. Obama and #39's response was simple yet profound. The truth always finds its way out, and your father will soon be held accountable, not by me, but by history itself. His words were calm, but carried the weight of inevitability. He didn't in #39 need to shout or demand attention. His certainty made the message undeniable. The room understood that this wasn't in #39 just about a disagreement. It was about facing the consequences of actions, about truth pressing forward, no matter the power or influence trying to suppress it. Ivanka and #39's reaction was subtle but significant. She lowered her gaze, a mixture of acceptance and resignation in her demeanor. The confident figure who had entered the room now seemed more human, vulnerable, and deeply affected by the weight of her own words. The room, too, felt the shift. What had been a heated back and forth was now a moment of profound clarity. The quiet that followed was thick with reflection. People understood that they weren't in #39 just witnessing a political event. They were seeing a human struggle, a lesson in the power of truth and accountability. Ivanka and #39's emotional breaking point in Obama and #39's unwavering calm transformed the entire atmosphere. It wasn't in #39 just a confrontation. It was a confrontation with reality. The silence continued, but it wasn't in #39 T just empty space. It was filled with the weight of what had just transpired. Obama had not only answered Ivanka and hashtag 39's interruptions with patience, but had also demonstrated that true power lies not in domination, but in the strength to let truth stand. His final words didn't and hashtag 39's just resolve the tension. They set the stage for the future, acknowledging that some forces, like truth, cannot be stopped. As the event ended, the room emptied, but the impact lingered. The conversations that followed were not about politics. They were about human nature, vulnerability, and the enduring force of truth. Everyone in that room understood the lesson. No amount of power, influence, or public image could shield anyone from facing reality. For Ivanka, the moment marked a shift. She had faced a question too big to avoid. And in that vulnerability, she had shown a side of herself rarely seen. For Obama, it was a reminder that patience, clarity, and truth have a power all their own. The event would be remembered not just for its political implications, but for the human moment it revealed, where truth met vulnerability and history began to unfold.